Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club, a podcast for agents where you'll witness a battle of opinions about topics affecting your real estate business. Now, always in your corner, here are your hosts, Jen Mertland and Monica Weekly.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. What's up, Jen Mertland?
What's up, Monica? If people aren't watching this on YouTube, Monica's in the green room.
Yeah. I took off my Zoom virtual background and I'm just being real right now. The real me just has this freaking whatever this is thing.
But isn't the green room where you're supposed to ask for like, I only want the blue M&Ms?
Yes.
What would be your request in the green room? Your like ridiculous request.
My ridiculous request would be Burt's Bees. I need like a couple things of Burt's Bees.
Like what?
Lip balm.
Your lips are that chapped. Drink some water, girl.
I just love it. I do drink water, but I love having it so much. And then I would want lime LaCroix. What would you want?
I mean, I'll take lime LaCroix as long as there's also vodka.
Yeah, Tito's for sure.
No, I like Grey Goose.
Really?
Tito's is like sweet, kind of. But I think, okay, mine would be, I don't know, like a back scratcher, like somebody with long nails that will scratch my
or
back
a masseuse.
in my head.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I didn't go far enough with this little game we're playing.
You got to think big, man.
You know what I like snack wise is do you know what I mean when I say cowtails? The caramel with the white stuff. I freaking love those.
This is the end of today's podcast and the end of our show forever because we cannot agree on snacks.
Well, shocker. We don't agree on snacks. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. We love it when you show up to the ring to watch this debacle go on every week. And today, I'm sure will be no exception.
Yes.
Today we are going to talk about, Jen and I are going to duke it out over this subject. Should verbal offers count? Now, be clear. We know they don't.
Yes.
All right. The question is, should they count? What do you think, Mert?
I think it's hard. I think that there are, I think in general, most of the time, them not counting makes sense, right? Because people will say stuff, but then, and there have been times where all of us have been like, yeah, the buyer and seller agree, right? Write it up. And then in writing, it like changes. And you're like, wait a minute,
something different.
What happened? Like, and they changed their mind. And that's so annoying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think like, there's also a difference. I don't know. There's some times where it makes sense. And I'm trying to think of like when it does, or when it's like, until it gets written up. Like if you're working with like a big investor or something like that, a lot of times that does have to be done verbally first or through text or something like that. And I think, in other countries, it's done a lot too, verbally, but
is it? Yeah, I don't
believe
know.
so. But in a lot of other countries too, there's a lot more dual agency. So it's different. And I think if it's dual agency, that's different too. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it absolutely should not count. I think that would be a big, giant freaking mistake. And I'm glad it doesn't. And we're good. Like, this isn't one of those things where we need the Jen Mertland explosion TNT to blow it up. I think it's just
we don't need to blow it up
the way it is. Now, can you imagine though, if it did, and we were, the listing agent, and you had a buyer's like, don't take anything. I've got a buyer and they're offering you $500,000 cash and no inspections. And you're like, okay, I'll put all this on hold for that. And like you said, by the time it gets to the paper, it's not the same.
No, but I think you have to know like if you know who the clients are, sometimes that is like, but you also have the caveat, right? Of like, hey, it's not in writing yet. So like, while we agree and unless and until it's fully signed, there's actually no agreement, but you can do all this stuff ahead of time. You know what I mean? But if it's a normal, traditional transaction, I think it muddies the waters.
What about the things that happen when sometimes by accident, your clients get to interact with, let's say your clients are the buyers, your clients get to interact with the sellers for some
by
reason.
accident, because the sellers are there during every showing, or they're talking to them on the ring camera that they haven't disclosed, or they're sitting next door. Just, making sure.
And they say, I promise we're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. Is that a verbal contract?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that has happened, right? A lot of times.
Of course.
And it's like, you have to, and we did an episode on like having that hard talk with the seller. Hey there, you liking this video? Go ahead and hit subscribe so you get all the latest videos. Like, man, you can't take the fridge. Like you can't right. So this is the same conversation. It's like, okay, you told them that you would fix it. And I know you told them because you told me you told them.
Right.
So let's honor our word here.
Yeah. I think that's the phrase that comes into play in the verbal discussions is honor your word.
Right.
And we all know, because we've been in the business long enough.
Right.
That just doesn't work the way you think it should.
It's always the people that are like, well, my people are very high, da 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 da. They're like,
trust me.
You can trust them. They're very virtuous people are the ones. Look, I always say, if you have to tell me you're a good person,
you're not.
You're probably not.
Yeah.
You're probably not.
If somebody says, trust me, it's like a big red flag. Like,
yeah. Like, is there some reason I wouldn't trust you? Like, do you regularly have to say this? Do you probably, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So if you're the agent and you hear of that, this conversation went on, should you take action on that really quickly?
I think yes.
Put it in writing.
If you're the buyer's agent and it's something that the seller said they're going to get fixed, it's your responsibility to get that in writing. It is. I don't think it's the listing agent's responsibility, right? It's whoever client benefits the most from it. Mm-hmm. So there's been times the other is reversed, right? Where the buyers come through and they talk to the seller like, oh my God, we love this house. We want to offer on it. Then as the listing agent, it's our job to be like, yo, your client said they wanted to offer on it. Do they want to offer on it? Normally they don't, because nobody's going to tell you to your face, your baby is ugly.
Right. So they're just being nice.
They're just being nice.
Another argument for why the seller should never be at home during this.
There is, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's
what? Oh, we should, I don't think we've done an episode on that, have we?
Oh, coming up.
Flat out, should the sellers be able to be home during showing?
All right, let's see. I think that we've already showed our cards at what we'll argue for the other side. Is there a world that I think texting the terms is different, or do you think it's different than verbal?
Okay, that's a good question.
What if it was faxed, Monica? No, just kidding.
That would mean
in handwritten fax. Like, how they.
Yeah, right. No, I think there's a reason we have a hard line, and that's why we all use accepted contracts. It's because that is the only, you have to draw a line in the sand somewhere that we all can agree on, and the text falls short of that. And yes, it's a little bit more concrete than a verbal discussion, but it still falls short of all of the rest of the legal freaking jargon that needs to go
and that's
along
still
with
the same, right? Like, and unless and until everything is filled out, everything is initialed, because there have been times, I mean, in the digital age, it's so confusing too, right? Where it's like, we've been sending a contract, it's like they cross wires or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, we're sending it for initial for a change, but by the time it got to you and got back to me, we got another offer in that I'm sorry just got accepted. Like, it sucks, but like
now that's interesting because okay, I hadn't thought about that angle, and that is the you've got the verbal agreement basically, and you're just buttoning the thing up with initials.
Yeah, but and everything was a thing, but there was one change that needed to be made.
Yeah, right. And that left the contract open.
It leaves it open.
I do have the discussion with my clients that say, there's been times where you couldn't get the signature that night, and you have to say to the agent, we're good. I promise we're good. And I have to check with my sellers and say, I'm giving them the commitment that we're good no matter what comes in. Are you good for that? Yeah, we're good for that.
Oh yeah. Until $20,000 or, $50,000 more comes in. Then what?
Yeah. Have you ever had that discussion with your sellers?
Yes.
Like, hey,
And a
you gave
contract.
your word.
Yes. And the contract has come in higher.
And then what?
I've had it happen a couple of times actually. So one of the times they just felt like they had already told these people that they were going to do it. And to them, it was still a good price. So they were fine. The other time they were like, yeah, but I mean, legally.
Yeah, but money talks. And
yeah, it depends on your seller, right? Like if they're an attorney, if they're an attorney,
then what?
then they're gonna, no, but like it depends because you can't really ever say, so you have got to button it up as soon as possible.
What role though do you play as fiduciary to them on that versus your reputation? That's that whole ethical versus legal kind of
I know,
question.
but it is really up to them, right? And I think you have to be careful of saying that, to guaranteeing that, because you cannot guarantee it. And it's like, we are good for now. And they have authorized me to cancel all the showings tomorrow, but like, and I'll do that, but I can't tell you from any of the showings today. I haven't heard back from anybody, but like, until or unless this is done, it's still open right now. They're excited for your client's offer, but like, shit.
Yep. That's the safe conversation to have with the other agent versus, yeah, we're good. My client gave his word. We're good. Go to bed and we'll see you in the morning.
I think overstepping bounds as an agent runs rampant in our industry.
I don't know that it's always with the intent of overstepping bounds. I agree with that sentence. However, I think a lot of times the agent has been told that, like, we're good. We got it. We're good.
Or they just understood the conversation in that way and it wasn't accurate, or people change their mind all the time. And we're not a party of the contract.
Correct.
So
we're just an agent.
Get it signed. Now, what if instead of telling the agent, it was emailed to the agent? Like the seller sent it to the agent, the listing agent forwarded it to the buyer's agent. We are in agreement with this buyer on blah, 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 blah. I know that's more of a legal question.
I was just going to say that sounds like a phone call to brokers. Yeah. Yeah. In a minute, that would go to my brokers because I don't know the legal answer to that. To me, it still falls into, hey, this is not how I would do business. And I thought we were on the same page, ethically there. But I don't know if that's right. That's how I would lean.
I don't know. Shall we take a break?
I think we need to.
I'm sleepy. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't take a nap while you listen to our amazing partners.
Get some coffee. Yeah. Let's hear from our favorite partners. And when we return, we will have the final punches. Are you where exactly you want to be in your business and in your life? Chances are you're probably not. So you've been thinking about coaching. You know that in order to get you where you want to go from where you currently are, you're going to need help. You need accountability. You need clarity. You need processes. You need systems. You need people. That is what a coach does. And I know you've been thinking about coaching, but you're scared to take the leap. And I totally get it. So Monica and I were talking, and we are going to give you a taste of coaching with my coach, Coach John Kitchens. So Monica and I are going to pay for the first 60 days with him, which your life will be completely different in the next 60 days. Go to trial.coachcode.com. There's a section for sponsor. Put Fight Club in that section. Monica and I will pay for the first 60 days, and all you have to do is show up. Go to trial.coachcode.com and enter Fight Club.
Welcome back. Let's get back to the battle inside the ring and close out with our final round. I don't know that anyone's like, black and blue on this one because, of course, the law is very clear that contracts do not count in this, at least in our state. But I think there's a lot of gray. Some gray sometimes. Yeah. And the whole idea of the email and the whole idea of I promise. And I don't know. I don't know.
I think there are times, to your point, there are times when the contract cannot be signed, right? Like the person's like literally in the plane or where they work, like there's no, they literally cannot do it, right? So I think in that case, having the sellers acknowledge that it in writing, that they are in alignment and that we are waiting on the specific thing. And maybe even acknowledge, like, I don't think they'll go so far as to say if another offer comes in, we won't take it.
We won't take
but
it.
They'll probably acknowledge that this one is the one. I think that puts you in your best if they'll do it.
If they'll do it.
If I'm the seller, I mean, I'd be like, I really want to give it to this person and I hope they get it signed.
Is it worth the conversation with your clients? Like when it's 11 o'clock at night and that situation comes up and you're like, all right, we're not getting the other.
I'm not talking to anybody at 11 o'clock at night.
Well, late or whatever's for you. Yeah, I don't either.
Before happy hour. We'll just say before happy hour when this happens. Hour. Okay, carry on. What is the question?
Okay. So the question is, what kind of conversation is necessary with your clients about, all right, we're giving a verbal commitment. What does that mean to you? Like,
yeah, right. I think that's a good point. And it's like, okay, if another offer comes in, are we doing showings? Like, where are we at here? Like what are we, yeah.
So that I can convey it to the other agent. Like, yeah, we're good unless.
Yeah. Because they always ask that too. Like once they're under contract, they always will ask, like, what if another offer comes in that's higher? You're like, well, I mean, you stuck. Sorta.
That's right.
You're sorta stuck. Yeah. I mean, if there's inspections, they can reopen it and then you're unstuck.
Yes. This is, I guess this isn't exactly the same. I was thinking we're having a lot of that with, when we're doing inspections for information purposes only, which is happening a lot. A conversation that I have to have with my buyers is that, when they ask, well, what if something's awful? I can still get out of the contract. Yes. And that's not how we're walking into the deal. Like, this is not in the back of our head that there might be another opportunity. Right. It's not quite the same, but it's that.
But it's the other side of the coin. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I just always try to sleep at night, without.
That's why God invented Xanax. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So realtors can sleep at night. That's the thing.
I'm totally kidding.
We know you're not. I think that's going to have to be the end of today's battle. What do you guys think? I think clearly you can see, Jen and I falling a little bit on both sides of this, but be curious what you guys think. Please you can go to our Facebook page. That's Real Estate Fight Club Podcast. You can go to Instagram, Real Estate Fight Club Podcast. You could just message Jen and I, like anything works. We just want to hear from you.
But more importantly, I want to know, what is your green room temper tantrum must have?
That's it.
That's what I feel like the most creative, biggest, most ridiculous answer needs some swag. There it is. Watch the
last time we had a mustache. I had a mustache. This one's like
you please have to watch our YouTube channel. That's a weird one. Okay, that's better. Yeah, weird. Yeah, I don't like it. It's scaring me. All right.
If you are not watching us right now, I just had on some funky glasses.
And if you would like to partner with Monica and I or explore that and see if that's something that can work for you, please give us a call or a text at 513-400-1691. All right, Monica. Thank you.
See you next time.
Ciao. All right. I have a special tiebreaker for us today. I am here with Maria Villanueva. Hey, Maria, how are you?
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being on today. So I wanted to bring you on. You are a real estate agent in Panama, and the brokerage is let me try it. Hold on. Padeco Realty. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Padeco Realty. Yes.
Perfect. And I thought this would be a good question because we want to learn about how other real estate agents in other countries kind of do business, because it's fun to see the differences. So the question is are verbal offers, should they be accepted?
Okay. In Panama, we don't accept verbal offers.
Okay.
We send a form, which company has their own form, or we belong, many real estate companies belong to association here. It's called ACOBIR, which means Asociación de Corredores de Bienes Raíces. It's optional, it's a private organization, and they have specific forms that you can use.
Okay.
Also, you can do it via WhatsApp. It's not recommended, but it's also legally binding since it's written.
Right.
Or an email. In Padeco, we send forms, but we see a lot of cons in doing a verbal agreement.
Yeah.
First of all, there's no proof that.
I mean, that's the thing, but let's back up and share that in Panama, while there is a push for people to be a licensed real estate agent like yourself, not many people are not licensed.
Correct.
And there could be multiple people like representing the property, and the property could be advertised at different prices, right?
Correct.
So confusing.
I know, it's super confusing. We're now trying to push the MLS system, the same that the US has.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to change people's mindset to give one property to one realtor, since they think their possibilities would be better off in different baskets.
It's not
so
true.
I know, because if I get the exclusivity of one property, I would invest a lot more in advertising, in time, everything. So here, everybody has every property. We're trying in ACOBIR, the association I just mentioned, we're trying to change the mindset of property owners.
Yeah.
For them to switch. So here, the minimum for a realtor to have an exclusivity of a property is 6 months.
Okay.
What about states?
You can kind of do whatever you want. People do different things. We do 3 months.
Okay. Here, the minimum is 6 months.
But if it's not, we need to do another podcast on this.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So back to the verbal offers. So I imagine that there is a lot of conversation going on because you have all these people that are representing the property. Then you probably have the buyers that are like, well, can I get it cheaper somewhere else?
Yes.
Right. So is that done verbally, or is that still always written?
Okay. For example, you see the same property in different prices.
Yeah.
And there are multiple websites that they do it. Many people, you see, there are many brokerage firms that they don't even talk to the property owner. They just copy from you and they just lower the price for someone to call, and then they switch the price. They switch the price up. Yeah, I know. It's
oh my God.
But they're saying like, okay, this one have 10K less the property. I'm going to call this one instead of that one. And
right.
they haven't even talked to the property owner. So it's super insane. So that's why Encuentra 24 on all that sites, it's not trustable information.
Yeah.
So the buyer, has a lot of options and he doesn't even know which one he could trust.
Right. That makes sense. Do you have exclusive representation on the buyer side or no?
Well, his property, no, on the buyer side, no. He could go to another one. There's no contract or anything.
Girl.
There's like ethic.
Oh, please.
I know.
This is
it's
terrible.
Insane here in Panama. They are trying to standardize everything and try to emulate the states because
have a little more accountability, I think, too.
Yes.
Well, talk to us. Because most of the audience are real estate agents in the United States. Is there anything that maybe you want to share with them if they're not familiar with like how to help their clients if they want to buy maybe an investment property outside of the United States in Panama? Like, what is there any advice you can give them, or can you give us your contact information so that they can call you directly?
Sure. Okay. In Panama, in the last year, October 2021, they just changed some laws, which are very beneficial for people all around the world to come to live in Panama. We depend on foreign direct investments. So the country is trying to push visas. So visas for people to come here. So for example, US specifically, which there are different countries that have different set of
requirements.
Requirements and agreements with Panama. US specifically, since it's a friend of Panama since forever, you can invest in Panama for $200,000. You have to invest in cash, not in a mortgage property. You could either invest it in a property, in Panamanian stock market. You could put it in, I don't know how to call this in English, but in the bank, a deposit in
A
the bank.
deposit, yeah.
Okay.
It's a deposit.
It's a deposit, which
Yeah.
here, for example, the interest rates are bigger than in the States. For example, you could have 5 to 6% return. I think in the US.
In a bank
0.
deposit?
Yes.
Yeah, we're
yes.
like 0,
Obviously
basically.
they freeze it,
Right.
and the most amount of years, obviously the interest goes.
I see. So it's like a CD. We have something similar. Okay.
That's the word I was looking at. So you
Okay.
can put $200,000 in a CD in the stock market, or you can buy a property, which is the most smart thing to do, since you buy the property and you can use it as an investment.
Yeah.
You can rent it. There are a couple of properties here in Panama. Now in Panama, it's forbidden Airbnb in the city, but now they are giving permits to certain buildings in certain areas
Yeah.
that they have this permit in the city. In the beach, you can do whatever you want. You can Airbnb every day. There's nothing they can do.
The beach is where you want your property.
Probably, or if you don't want to Airbnb because you're not here, well, there are plenty
There's
of
companies.
Yeah, there's companies that they can help you with that. But the easiest thing for a foreigner is basically to rent long term. So you can do it, and you can analyze with a yield, I don't know, between 6-7%. It's possible here in Panama nowadays. The real estate market is not as high as in the States. It's a little bit lower since the pandemic, and the past few years has been a little bit down. So you still can get good prices here and still could get good rents. So the smartest thing to do here is to invest. It could be from $200,000 and whatever you want.
Yeah.
No?
And you can get a visa. People should know that in Panama, they do use the US dollar. So it's easy because there's no conversion. So you really understand the money. And then also if they, when I was there and I visited you, we went around and looked at some properties, so they can see that on both of our Instagram pages, they can see some of the properties that are available or similar ones that if those aren't available, you'll have similar ones that are some good investments.
They're very good investments here in Panama. Exactly. So you can buy it in the beach, you can buy it in the mountain, you can buy it in the city. There are plenty of options here in Panama. And you can get your visa, I mean, for if you don't want to be in the States, or you want an investment, or we're very busy. We have tax-friendly policies.
Yeah.
And,
that's why people are moving there. A lot of people are moving like out of like the they're moving to Puerto Rico for the tax, which is considered, I guess, territory. But then a lot of people are looking at Panama too, as a tax shelter. Well, if people have further questions, they can get a hold of you on WhatsApp, right?
For sure. I can give you my phone number. It's 507, which is the area code of Panama, and it's 6617-3034. That's my cell phone. You can contact me directly with any question. More than happy to help. Also, you can log in our Instagram, which is Padeco or Padico. It's PADECO Realty, Padeco Realty. We have an Instagram, or you can write me an email to Villanueva, which is VILLANUEVA @padecorealty.com. So anything you want to invest here in Panama, or you have any questions regarding the banking system, the currency, what advantages we have. We are a connect country. We have a lot of ports. We have 5 international airports. We connect 90 flights per day. We have 5 ports. We don't have
going on. We have good empanadas.
We have good empanadas, exactly. We have the Caribbean and the Pacific. You can go from one side to another in 2 hours, which is insane. If you don't like humid weather, we have a place called Boquete, which the temperature there is really nice. It's 70 Fahrenheit approximately.
That's nice. You guys didn't take me there.
No, because it's far. It's an 8-hour drive or 1 hour drive, 1 hour plane.
Oh, I gotcha. Cool.
Yes. If you could have stayed more days, for sure, we have taken you to Boquete.
I'll be back.
And there's a huge expat community. A lot of people speak English. Menus are in English. In Panama, I don't know if you're your listeners know the story between Panama and United States, but we have been bonded for centuries.
Right. A long time.
You guys built our canal. So we were very empathetic and friendly with the US.
Mhm.
And
That
the
was
good
my
thing-
experience there too. And even though, I mean, the Spanish is very nice Spanish, like not a lot of, like you guys are, the people I met were really nice and easy to deal with. And they would let me try to speak Spanish, even though it's terrible, or, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed it. Well, give us your phone number on WhatsApp one more time, just so they have it.
It's 507-6617-3034.
Perfect. I appreciate you being on. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.